people in the Zoom, and then the live portion the people in the room will join us at 5:30. Right now they can't hear us.
Yes. So they said this meeting is being live streamed. Got it. So you just click got it. Okay. Yeah, Rebecca, you still playing with Sekar Jaya?
Sorry?
You still playing with Sekar Jaya, right? You're dancing and playing.
Yeah, and playing in Angklung.
Oh,
But
playing.
this season I was too busy, so I'll come back in the fall.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Yes. I just met Wayne in Los Angeles weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. Yes. So he performed with us with Madhukumala, the name of the group.
Nyoman, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Bonnie.
Hey, Bunny. Oh, Bunny, wait.
It's so long since I have seen you.
Oh, yes. So long. So how you been? How are you?
I'm surviving.
Oh my God. It's been
We all are who are on video here.
I know.
And that's very good. Yes. No, I'm fine. And I'm retired. I think of you often. I have such wonderful memories from the period when we
Yes, of course.
met on a regular basis. Yes. How are you?
Yeah, just fine. Thank you. You remember Pak Joko? Pak Joko.
Of course.
And then Pak Joko is my father-in-law.
Let me assure you that I am not senile.
Oh, yes.
I remember Pak Joko very well.
Yeah, of course. So of course he retired in 1992 from Cal Art, from also UC Berkeley, and so he went back to Java, and then he lived until 104.
Remarkable. There's something good about music.
Yeah, and yes. Then Pak Joko, one of his students, replaced him at Cal Art. And also he retired just 2 weeks ago. Pak Joko.
It's the thing to do.
Yes. And I heard Ben also retired. And
yes, Ben he retired recently. Yes, I retired in 2016 from teaching.
Yeah, I remember.
And from 2017 from administering. Yeah, and it's really another way of life. You have to get used to a different flow, and you can become quite lazy if you let yourself.
Yeah. For me, I'm going retire, but not yet. But they told me not yet. Maybe in a couple more years. He said, a couple more years at Kellogg. I just met my dean, the dean of music school. He told me, well, you can retire, but not yet.
That means you are very appreciated, and it couldn't be more deserved.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. I also did at UCLA, still there. Yeah. Once a week, I drove to UCLA. I'm driving to teach a class there.
Hi, Wenton. I don't know if you can hear me. I wanted to say hello. It's Andy Gold from.
Oh, my knees. Oh my God, Andy.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, wonderful. I'm here still at CalArts.
You look just the same. You haven't aged a
Oh
day.
my God.
And it was only 45 years ago, I think.
magic of color. Yes. Yes. So how you been?
I've been good. I've been good. I stopped dancing a long time ago,
I
but now
know.
I play. I play in
somebody-
Sekar Jaya.
Yes. So miss you. I miss all Sekar Jaya people and Bunny, all everyone, my old friends there. I was, yeah.
I was gonna say those were sort of my fondest moments at CalArts were the moments in the Gamelan room.
Yeah. The Gamelan room still being fixed. There was flooded
Oh no.
almost 3 years ago. The only wooden floor we have the entire school. So they
Oh
fixed the
my
floor,
goodness.
and then when they fixed the what do you call, the plumbing broke down.
Oh,
It flooded again. So
oh,
we were outside the school. They rented a place for us near town center, near the mall. Belong to Princess Cruz building. So we were there for almost three years. Yes. Yeah. So now we're back, but still not full time yet. Yeah. Oh yes.
well, I hope sometime you'll come up here and I can see you and maybe we can, you
Yeah.
can dance and I'll be playing in the gamelan.
Oh yes.
We'll change roles from 40 years ago.
Oh yes. Oh my God, miss you guys. Every time during Dewa, Hamiko there, they call me, Wenton, can you come and dance with us?
Yeah.
They always in the springtime, always so busy here. There's last night our last concert at UCLA, so we've been busy. Yeah.
But you're still dancing.
Yeah. Yeah. When was here in Southern California? About 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they play with us. Yeah, is Gamelan now belong to Merdu Kumala, one of my student former group. They call Merdu Kumala. Yes. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you.
Oi!
Winton.
Hey, Katie, how are you?
Long time no see.
I know. How's in Santa Cruz?
Undang is ill again today. He's in the hospital, but I think they just let him out.
Oh my
So,
God, yeah.
Um,
I heard I called his wife a couple times last week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, he has a stroke, right?
I think this is different right now. I don't have all of the correct information, so
Yeah.
I won't say, but he's had a couple of things and he was just back in the hospital, I think yesterday. I heard from Rayanne.
Oh, is Jim there? Is he Jim?
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. We've been asked to stop the chatting so that we can listen to everyone who's in the room there at Sekar Jaya.
Well, there's only one, you can go ahead, Jim.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all for coming down. It's so wonderful to see so many familiar faces. It's really great. For those of you who may not know, I think most of you do, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jim Hogan. I'm an original member of the group, and I'm now on the board of directors. And so I'd like to welcome you all. And I'd also like to welcome all the folks on Zoom and other social media that are able to join us from around the world, join us here in our Banjar in Berkeley, through the magic of the internet. Especially we have folks from Indonesia that are joining us, and that's really great. We're here to give a tribute to our dearly loved founding music director, Wayan Suweca. I think we all know that. We're honored today to have with us some key people who will share a few words about Pak Suweca and his indelible legacy, both for Gamelan Sekar Jaya and for the world of Balinese arts. Before I make my first introduction, I would like to express my own personal sadness at the passing of Pak Suweca. He had a profound and positive impact on my life and that on the life of my wife, Maddie, who's here with us today. We both express our deepest sympathy to his family. We're fortunate today that we have two other co-founders of Sekar Jaya with us for this celebration. Michael Tenzer has come down from Vancouver with his wife, Pam, and Rachel Cooper has joined us from New York. So at this point, I'd like to invite Michael to come. You see Michael? Michael Tenzer, come up and share a few thoughts, and Rachel as well. Michael and Rachel both. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, and thanks to everybody who's involved in this sad but important event. I am going to speak in, even though I look around and I see mostly non-Indonesian faces here and all the Indonesians speak English, I think I'm going to alternate between English and Indonesian. So please bear with me as I do that. So, I mourn the passing of Wayan Suweca and extend my sympathies to his beautiful children, grandchildren, siblings, and friends, all of whom were close and loyal. The day Suweca died, May 22nd, was also my own birthday. This coincidence punctuates a long and beautiful time of inspiration, learning, and cross-cultural understanding. I met Suweca when I was 21, 45 years ago, and he was a friend and a teacher and a model ever since. He was, as many people have said, a monster drummer, a gifted, prodigious, and unstoppable musical force. I remember so vividly certain moments in the first years of Sekar Jaya rehearsals when I was really a beginner, and Suweca thrust the feeling of Kebiar into me as I struggled to interlock with him at the blinding speeds that he set. He would open his eyes wide, point his gaze straight at me, and lean across his drum like he was firing a lightning bolt into my forehead. One shot of human energy like that, and one is a changed person forever. I remember that flash of sensation like it was yesterday, and I still feel it, because once I knew Suweca, I could only love Balinese music for as long as I live. Saya berduka atas meninggalnya Wayan Suweca dan menyampaikan rasa kasihan saya kepada anak-anak, cucu, saudara, dan sahabat, semuanya yang akrab dan setia. Hari kematian Suweca, 22 Mei, juga merupakan hari ulang tahunku sendiri. Kebetulan ini menaruh titik pada waktu inspirasi, pelajaran, dan pemahaman lintas budaya yang panjang dan indah. Saya bertemu Suweca ketika saya berusia 21, 45 tahun yang lalu. Dan dia adalah seorang teman, guru, dan teladan dalam kehidupan sejak itu. Dia, seperti yang dikatakan banyak orang, adalah pengendang raksasa. Kekuatan musik yang berbakat luar biasa dan tak terhentikan. Saya ingat dengan jelas saat-saat tertentu di tahun pertama latihan Sekar Jaya waktu saya benar-benar baru belajar dan Suweca menanamkan perasaan kebiar ke dalam diri saya saat saya coba untuk menkilit dengannya dengan kecepatan yang ngebut dan yang dia tetapkan. Dia membuka matanya lebar-lebar, arahkan pandangannya lurus ke arahku dan bersandar di kendangnya seperti dia menempatkan petir ke dahi saya. Satu suntikan energi manusia seperti itu kita adalah orang terubah selamanya. Saya ingat sekilas perasaan itu seperti terjadinya kemarin dan masih saya rasakan karena begitu saya mengenal Suweca, saya hanya bisa mencintai musik Bali seumur hidup. Suweca had great pride in his musical heritage. He was obsessed with mastering his tradition and had endless passion for studying the technique of great musicians of the past. He devoted himself to the legacy of his teachers, especially his father, the remarkable musician Konolan. As the father of Gamelan Sekar Jaya, he set the tone that guides the group to this day. He often said, "We can create something valuable. We can show the world what we can achieve as a group. Let's do it." And Suweca understood his key role in opening up Balinese music to the world. I remember a day in about 1979 when we were roommates in Berkeley, and he announced one morning at breakfast that he had dreamt the night before of an odalan in his home banjar of Kayu Mas, attended by Mozart and Beethoven wearing pakaian. Aduh, he said as we drank our coffee, "I was so proud to have these great composers come to my village. Can you believe it?" I always loved that image and understood it as a metaphor for how a world can come together in beauty and harmony. And the amazing thing is everything okay?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And the amazing thing is what Suweca dreamt came true in ways we could not have begun to imagine then. Suweca sangat bangga dengan warisan tradisinya. Dia terobsesi untuk menguasai tradisinya dan memiliki gairah yang tak habis-habis untuk mempelajari teknik musik hebat di masa lalu. Dia mengabdikan dirinya pada warisan gurunya, terutama ayahnya Konolan, juru gamelan yang luar biasa. Sebagai ayah dari Gamelan Sekar Jaya dan menetapkan sikap yang membimbing grup sampai hari ini, beliau sering katakan, kita mampu menciptakan sesuatu yang berharga. Kita dapat menunjukkan kepada dunia apa yang bisa capai sebagai grup. Ayo lakukan. Dan Suweca memahami peranannya kunci dalam membuka dunia kepada musik Bali. Saya ingat sekali suatu hari di sekitar tahun 1979, ketika kami tinggal serumah di Berkeley, dan suatu pagi dia ceritakan pada saat minum kopi bahwa dia mimpi semalam tentang upacara odalan di banjar rumahnya di Kayu Mas yang dihadiri oleh Mozart dan Beethoven yang berpakaian adat. Wah, katanya sedang minum. Saya sangat bangga bahwa komponis ini datang ke desa saya. Aduh, luar biasanya. Saya selalu mencintai khayalan itu dan memahaminya sebagai kiasan tentang bagaimana dunia dapat bersatu dalam keindahan dan harmoni. Dan hal yang mengagumkan adalah apa yang diimpikan Suweca menjadi kenyataan dengan cara yang tidak dapat kami bayangkan pada awalnya. The best way to eulogize an artist is not to talk about them, but to appreciate their art and give it the concentrated attention it deserves. Suweca was a master of gamelan, especially gamelan gender wayang, and as a drummer. And to that end, I will conclude by playing a recording of Suweca improvising drumming variations that I made in 1982 when I was trying to learn the technique. The details of Balinese drumming are underappreciated. We tend to focus on melody. Listen closely now to the beauty and subtlety of Suweca's constantly changing rhythms as he plays alone. And we wish you a beautiful journey, Liwayan. I'll just read that in Indonesian, and then Jillian, will you play the recording? Thank you. Cara terbaik untuk memuji seorang seniman bukanlah dengan membicarakannya, tapi dengan menghargai seni mereka dan memberikan perhatian terkonsentrasi yang patut. Suweca adalah seorang maestro gamelan, khususnya gamelan gender wayang, dan sebagai pengendang. Untuk melestarikan itu, saya akan menutup dengan memainkan rekaman variasi kendang tunggal Suweca yang saya buat pada tahun 1982 ketika saya mempelajari teknik itu. Unsuran permainan kendang Bali kurang dihargai. Orang cenderung fokus kepada lagu. Dengarkan baik-baik keindahan dan kehalusan ritme Suweca yang terus berubah saat dia bermain sendiri. Dan semoga perjalanan yang baik Liwayan. Terima kasih atas segalanya. Om Shanti Shanti.
the spirit of Suweca. My name's Rachel Cooper, and I'm the third founder of Gamelan Sekar Jaya. Many years ago on a pondok in Bali, we sat around thinking about how can we do justice to this music that we so love and this culture that we so deeply respect, and how can we come together? And we really didn't know exactly what we were going to do, but there was this hope, and I think there was a kind of faith. And Suweca was very much a passionate person, not only about music, so beautifully spoken of by Michael Tenzer, but of the meaning of Bali, the reverence for this culture that he loved and that this was so much a part of, and how those values and that respect came together in the music, so that all of us were sharing a kind of ethos, a sense of community, of creating work and art and music that in fact transcended the actual music. It was by learning together and by doing this all together that this came together. And I think built something, a foundation that lives on. And that's the spirit that he created, bringing us all together. And I think he had the idea that, you know, women could be a big part of this. That was something that had not really been so much a part of what was going on in Bali. He came to the US, he saw that there was so much interest in women studying gamelan. And in fact, when he went back, he started a women's group. And then coming back again to the US and starting Gamelan Sekar Jaya. And in many ways, I feel everyone who is here, whether you're in this room virtually or physically, is a part of that larger family.
Okay, I'll stay here until.
And that love of the music, and yes, trying to do justice to that music, play it in the way that it was meant to be. Many of us had come from universities where we had a gamelan 1A, 1B, and then it was back to 1A. And that was really the point, I think, of trying to do this. And not trying to be Balinese, but to have a kind of respect and reverence for Balinese music and dance, and understanding that that kind of exchange is at the core of our humanity. And I would say that Suweca's values were very much core to that. Those are the roots, and that's continued.
Want me to go into the other?
So what we thought was going to be 6 weeks in Berkeley playing in the living room has now become a real banjar where the idea of community, of sharing ideas, decision-making that is shared, is something that in fact carried through. And that is an ethos that's a part of the music, the extraordinary dance, but also an incredible culture. And that connection with Bali, with the culture in Bali, and with Balinese teachers, that has also been a key part of our beliefs. And that exchange has been really important. And with that, I'd like to close, and I'm glad that we can all share this moment.
Thank you so much, Michael and Rachel, for those inspiring words. As we've noted, we're running there? Yeah. Not only do we have the people in the group here, but we have people in other parts of the United States and people in Indonesia joining us. So at this point, we're going to try, if we can, technically, to bring in a very important person from our group, and that's Nyoman Winton. I think many of you know that Winton was our very first dancer in the performance we did in Fort Mason in early 1980. That he and his wife Nanik have been unbelievably important people in the development of Indonesian arts especially in Southern California, both Balinese and Javanese performances. Anyway, at this point, let's see if we can get
Yes.
Pa Quentin to join us remotely.
Yes. Thank you, James. Thank you so much, everyone. Let me begin by saying in Balinese, Inge, maybe some Balinese artists, musicians, and dancers in the Zoom. So I just wanted to say a greeting in Balinese first. And Inggih pinirian itiang aturan puspo panganjali sarang idadane sarang sami sane kucunduk rikiring Zoom dalam rangka meninggalnya teman kita yang tercinta Pak Wayan Suweca. Om Swastiastu. Hi everyone. My name is Inyoman Wenton. I'm actually teach here in Southern California at California Institute of the Art, also UCLA and Pomona College for many years. As Jim said, I'm part of Sekar Jaya from really beginning, and I always remember every moment of that. Every time they asked me to come to help perform at Sekar Jaya, I was there. And just let me begin to say a few words and also briefly, and to all of you. And first of all, I thanks Banjar Sekar Jaya for inviting me to be in this tribute or celebrated Pak Wayan Suweca live. Therefore, I appreciate it so much. And I see everyone anew and also new faces here. I'm very happy about it. So delighted to see you all. Let me say briefly, first of all, on behalf of my family and the Gamelan community in Southern California, Gamelan Burat Wangi, California Institute of the Art, Gamelan Kebiar Sekar Anyar at UCLA, Gamelan Merdu Kumala, Gamelan Giri Kusuma, Bali and beyond. I would like to extend our most heartfelt sympathy of the passing our beloved world-renowned Balinese maestro, Bapak Wayan Suweca. I am deeply grieved by his death. Let me say a few words how I met him. I never really forget him and feel like a family to me. And I have known him, fortunate to know him, also perform with him from the young age. So I was, when I was a student at Kokar, Conservatory Krawitan in Denpasar. I live very close by his house. I course there. I rent a room close by his house. Banjar Kayu Mas Claude. So in the Kayu Mas, they have two Banjar, Banjar Kayu Mas Kaja and Banjar Kayu Mas Claude. Kayu Mas Kaja has a Gong Kebiar, who lead by his father, the great musician Pak Konolan, and the Kayu Mas Claude have Angklung. So when I was at Kokar, I joined mostly Kayu Mas Kaja, Gong Kebiar. Pak Konolan was play drum that time, and Pak Suweca was play pemade, a kantilan. He was very young age. And sometime I joined the Angklung from Kayu Mas Claude. And that time I sometime performed with a very incredible Oleg dancer, and also Viranata, Bu Hartati, and that around probably 1962, 63. So then, of course, we perform many different villages throughout Denpasar, Bali, then Hand Up also continue to perform with him in the US, especially when he was invited to teach at Brown University, I think around the 70s. And then Center for World Music then invite him to come to Berkeley to teach for the summer, 1974. So, and of course, as you know, Jim and Michael Tenzer, and the the founder of Sekar Jaya, three of them very well known. So mention about Pak Suweca was one of the founder of Sekar Jaya. Yes, I thought it's around 1978, and then 2 years after that, the first performance they have at Port Mason. I joined them. So so we continue perform back and forth here in the US and also in Bali. So last time I met him just after pandemic, around 2022, when I first time for 2 years I am not able to come to Bali, and we get together and invite him to come to my village to do some drumming with my group, Bratamuni in Sading. So this is the last time I met him 1922 after Sekar Jaya was invite him also here for a couple of months, and then they left back for Bali. So I'm really grateful of I have an incredible musician, and Bali lost, and Indonesia lost the great son, Pak Wayan Suweca. We miss him dearly, and his legacy lives forever. So this all I about to say about him, and we all love him so much, and hopefully he will be in a nice place, close to Sangwidi, Amor, in Acintio Pak Wayan Suweca. I love you and your family. All right, this all I can say. I return to James. Thank you, James.
Thank you so much, Quinton. Actually, get a little feedback there. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Quinton. It's so great to hear and see you again. You've played such a vital role in our development. At this point, I would like to invite another original member of our group who's played a tremendous role in our development, served as director of the group, and probably played every instrument, I think every instrument at one point or another with us, and also acted as our teacher, and just been a tremendous presence in Sekar Jaya. So I'd like to ask Queen Vitali to please share a few words with us.
Thanks, Jeff. And thank you, everyone. I'm sorry, louder. I am so delighted to be here. I'm honored, and I share the sentiments that have been expressed already by Michael and Rachel and Jim and Quinton and others who will speak after me. And I just want to recount what happened this morning. A few hours ago, I was thinking, what am I going to say about, what can I possibly say about Pak Suweca? He was my first gamelan teacher, and that first contact in October 1979 literally changed the course of my life. So it was hard to figure out how could I say anything. And at that moment, I discovered this in a pile of papers on my desk. I'm not making this up. I was like kind of absently rifling through my papers. And this is a letter that he wrote to Gamelan Sekar Jaya in early 2019. And with this envelope, it says, Kepada yang terhormat keluarga besar Gamelan Sekar Jaya di Berkeley, USA. And so I realized, the right thing to do now is, rather than share my own reflections, I would like to read this letter. And I'd like to ask Kanya, who is a Sekar Jaya staff member, who's actually done a lot to help make this event happen also, to translate for me into English. So, I hope you note the little flip we're doing. The American's going to speak in Indonesian, Indonesia's going to speak in English. So again, this was, it's dated the 9th of January, 2019. Om Swastiastu. Semoga semua anggota Gamelan Sekar Jaya ada dalam keadaan selamat dan berbahagia.
Formal Balinese greeting of hello. Oh, sorry, I speak very softly. Could you say that one more time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Semoga semua anggota Gamelan Sekar Jaya ada dalam keadaan selamat dan berbahagia.
Hello, formal greeting in Balinese. Om Swastiastu. I hope that all the members and community of Sekar Jaya are in good health and are well and in happiness.
Saat ini saya di Bali bersama keluarga, ada dalam keadaan baik-baik saja. Saya punya cucu baru yang lahir tanggal 3 Oktober 2017, namanya Made Teja Susena. Dia lucu dan gemuk, beratnya 16 kilogram, umurnya sekarang 1,2 tahun. Wah, saya agak susah mengangkatnya.
At this moment, I'm in Bali with my family, and we are in we are very well. I have one grandson that was born on October 3rd, 2017. His name is Made Teja Susena. He is very cute and chubby. He weighs about 16 kilograms. He is now around 1.2 years old. Wow, it's hard to pick him up.
Akhir tahun 2018 di Bali, merayakan Hari Raya Natal, Tahun Baru, Galungan, dan Kuningan.
At the end of 2018 in Bali, we celebrated Christmas, New Year's, Galungan and Kuningan.
Suasana di Bali sangat meriah. Banyak ada penyor, upacara dan menyambut Tahun Baru 2019. Bali penuh dengan wisatawan dan dari luar negeri atau dari Jawa yang datang berlibur di Bali.
The festivities in Bali are very festive. There are a lot of penjor, type of ornament we put outside during Galungan. There are many ceremonies to welcome in the new year of 2019. Bali is full of a lot of tourists from outside the country or from Jawa who are here to vacation in Bali.
Sekarang ini saya sudah pensiun 5 tahun. Ya, saya merasa lebih leluasa, relax, menikmati masa-masa wanaprasta di Bali.
Right now, I've already retired for 5 years. Yes, I'm feeling a lot more carefree, relaxed, and I'm enjoying this period of wanaprasta. Me and Pamoja were trying to find the translation. It's the stage of being that's closer to, it's like preparing for the final end of life, a bit like retirement, release, letting go in Bali.
Saya masih tetap mengajar, bermain gamelan, menggali tabu-tabu yang kuno agar jangan hilang dan melestarikan. Saya senang bermain trompong untuk lelambatan klasik. Dan saya sering main genderwayang bersama anak-anak, cucu, mantu, dan saudara di Bali.
I am still teaching. I'm playing gamelan. I am looking for old compositions in order to preserve them and make sure they aren't lost. I'm also been playing trompong for the classic lelambatan style, and I've been playing a lot of gender with children, my grandchildren, in-laws, and family in Bali.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this so my time is running out here. Saya mengucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya kepada seluruh staf anggota Gamelan Sekar Jaya yang telah mengundang saya dan istri untuk berkunjung tahun 2015 yang lalu. Peristiwa itu merupakan suatu hal yang sangat istimewa dalam perjalanan hidup saya bersama istri. Kalian betul-betul memperlakukan kami dengan sangat baik, tulus, dan sabar. Sudah tentu selama berada di Banjar, saya ada hal yang kurang berkenan. Saya dengan istri mohon maaf yang sebesar-besarnya.
I would like to say thank you and express gratitude, my biggest gratitude to all the staff and members of Gamelan Sekar Jaya that have invited me and my wife to come to the US in 2015. This experience was definitely, this experience treated us very well. Oh, sorry, I skipped the line, sorry. This experience was one of the most special in my entire life with my wife. All of you, for sure, treated us really well with sincerity and patience. It is for certain that as long as we were at the Banjar, there were moments that were less pleasant on behalf of them, and myself and my wife express the uttermost apologies to all of you for that.
Okay, I think we have to cut here, but I just want to mention one last thing because this is so perfectly Suweca. He was talking about how our 40th anniversary was coming up at that point, and he writes it, and he suddenly breaks into English and he says, "That is amazings." Great, and he spells amazing EMASINGS, amazings, which is exactly how he uses it. Anyhow, I'll leave it at that. I do have, I don't know if now is the time, but I have a 1-minute video clip of Suweca playing trompong, which I don't know, can we fit that in? Do we have time to do that? I'm hearing. At the end, okay, if there's time at the end. Thank you so much, and thank you, Kanya, for translating.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Kanya. And it was so great to hear Suweca's actual words to join us here today. It's beautiful. At this point, I would like to invite another original member to give us a few words. Miss Mudandiskar has, are you going to come here, hon? Yeah. Another original member who's done so much. Mudita is a communication guru, and she has shared that those wonderful insights and experiences with us for the years. So maybe you can give us a few words now.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mudita.
I hope so. So honored to stand here before you and see a lot of my old buddies and see a lot of new faces too, new to me, not to you. I met Suweca when I was living in Bali in 1972. So that was before Sekar Jaya had emerged at all. And I studied Gandhar with him as a kind of a side thing, because I loved it. I was mainly dancing there in 72 and 3. So I had a bad accident, and many of you know about that. I came back and I got a call saying, you want to join a gamelan, we're starting up. Suweca remembered that I had been his student. I was his first student from the US, and also the first woman who studied with him. And so he was very forward thinking to even take me on, as a student and take me seriously. And he was very serious, no hanky panky. So I got the call and I said, yes. I thought my gamelan days were over unless I went to Bali. And here was this amazing opportunity. I see a lot of people who were there for the first Gamelan Sekar Jaya event. And he said to me, you sit there. And he pointed to the top rayong spot, position 4. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. I always loved the sound of the rayong. And he put me there. What happened was, maybe he was highly intuitive, you think he was, or prescient, because sitting at the top in that position gave me the opportunity to put my right leg out and cover it with things so nobody could see that I was pointing my feet at them. And I needed to stretch my right leg out because it was injured. And I couldn't have continued playing for 37 years if I hadn't had that opportunity to just stick my leg out. And also my daughter Rose was 2 years old at the time. And my being on the top pots meant that she could sit next to me and draw, fall asleep, and mom could be right next to her. And she was, I think, one of the few kids in Gamelan who actually stayed for the various rehearsals. She didn't go running around and get too wild. So that made it nice for mom. And she later grew up to be who you know, some of you, and about a dancing Balinese dance, and also was the president of Gamelan Sekar Jaya for I don't know how many years, 2 years, 3 years. Whatever. Anyhow, back to Suweca. So, without his placing me where he did and taking me on as a student so long before anyone else was there doing that, I can't imagine really what my life would have been like. So I feel very blessed and very sad to think that he's not here with us on this realm, on this plane of existence, but hopefully he's having a really good journey with great music wherever he is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mudita. And thank you, Rose. Okay, we're going to switch back to a remote way of meeting here. And the next person that I'd like to introduce, words kind of fail me to describe the important role that this individual has played with the group. I'm talking about Pakpayan Dibia, who I think all of us know. He's been the guiding light for Sekar Jaya, along with many other teachers, but perhaps more important than many. He performed with us many times, along with his wife, Mari Waratini. And as I said, I could go on, but I think rather than do that, I think I will just hopefully introduce Tibia, who'll be speaking to us from Bali, perhaps from Singapore. Let's hope we can get.
Hi, Jim. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Ayo, beli Benton. Okay, good morning, everyone.
Tibia, you are muted.
It was not before. Okay. I'm very happy and grateful being part of this gathering to celebrate the great life of our master teacher, Iwayan Suweca. For those who don't know me, my name is Wayan Dibia. I live in Denpasar, Bali. I am retired from the Indonesia Art Institute in Denpasar. I first time visiting Sekar Jaya was back in 1980 on my way back from New York to Bali. And that was my first visit and my first experience sleeping with our friend between gamelan after we play gamelan and cooking at the Banjar. At the time, we were still at Hudson Street. I'm sure that many of you still remember how happy we were at the time. But my first time to join Gamelan Sekar Jaya was back in 1982 when I returned for my master at UCLA. I remember performing with you guys Gamelan Sekar Jaya at the formation stage. And at the time, the first time I catch up with you all. And it was really great fun. But what I want to say in this gathering is that actually I do know how to put in word my deepest condolence on the passing of our dear friend, our great teacher, Iwayan Suweca. I am really shocked to receive the sad news from my nephew that telling me our dear friend, brother, Iwayan Suweca has passed away. Until now, I cannot believe that Iwayan Suweca is no longer with us. But I have many stories to share with you to show how much I enjoy interacting, playing music, performing with him. But I will only tell you two stories, the beginning and the end. The beginning was in 1979. I got my first chance to work with Iwayan Suweca to teach Ramayana Ballet nearby his village called Banjar Bengkal. And he was concentrating on gamelan music and I was concentrating on dance. It was a joy. I was so happy working with him because he was very fast in responding on whatever I need for the dance. At the same time, also, I was inspired by his drumming. As you all know, Iwayan Suweca perhaps is the best drummer in Bali up to the present. He is a dancing drummer. He played drum while dancing. I never saw someone playing drum so easy, effortless, and give a lot of energy to the dance that he accompanied on stage. Whenever I play with him, either playing topeng or playing a jauk, I enjoy interacting with him, playing with him, challenging him and receive his challenge from his drumming. It's so great and so bad that we no longer have that chance in the future. My last story was that when we were here at this Bali Banyar, in this pretty room, we worked together preparing a dance theater called The Story of Kecak from Bodulu to prepare the anniversary of the 40th anniversary of Gamelan Sekar Jaya, and it was really fun. And at the time, I have no feeling that that was the last chance I will work with him. But all of that is really a beautiful, beautiful experience working with such a great master. And for me, up until now, I'm still thinking maybe Suweca as a musician, if I compare to a pilot who play music with autopilot. He can play genar wayang while sleeping because his hand already having some kind of a computer system that work by itself. So great. And Bali is really, we lost one of the greatest artists in Bali. So I would like also to tell you one joke that I always share with my friend. It's about drumming. Because for Suweca, even though you give him a broken drums, he can play well. He make a beautiful sound of that drum. But never a person like me will be able to play drum with a broken drum. Even with good drum, I will never able to perform drumming like that. So my joke was that if you want to buy a drum, please don't buy it from Pak Suweca. Because in front of him, broken drums can sound very beautiful, but when you play it by yourself, it never producing any sound. So that's just a joke, just to tell how great this man when playing drum. So making everything possible. So I would like to conclude by saying, selamat jalan, saudara saya Wayan Suweca. Rest in peace in your new world, but please do not forget us. Please do not forget us, the member of Sekar Jaya. Please don't forget who are here in this room now, because we all will remember you. So send whatever spirits to all of us to make a great music, to make a great dance for the success of Gamelan Sekar Jaya. Thank you very much. Jim?
Thank you so much for those beautiful words, Paktibia. I'm not sure if I mentioned that I think most of you know that Paktibia is on our board of directors. He's a vital member of that crew, and so he continues to give us guidance, and we're so appreciative of that. At this point, I would like to invite yet another longtime member of Sekar Jaya who has contributed so much to us musically and in many other ways. Lisa Gold, who's professor of music at UC Berkeley and a worldwide expert in many features of Balinese arts. And as I said, a longtime member and dear friend of all of us. So if you could give us a few words, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Om Swastiastu. Saya mau minta maaf sebelumnya karena saya akan pakai bahasa Inggris. Tapi nanti saya bisa terjemahkan kalau ada waktu atau kirim lewat email. So I just apologize because I'm going to be speaking English. So meeting my teacher, Pak Wayan Suweca, was life-changing for me. I first met him in the summer of 1977 at the UCLA Summer of Asian Performing Arts, organized by Judy Mitoma. Having only played in a very informal Balinese gamelan class at UCLA for 2 years, like Rachel mentioned, gamelan A, gamelan B, gamelan A. Prior to that, this experience had a huge impact on my playing, and in retrospect, on my entire life. Pak Suweca's fiery exuberance immediately got the group into shape, playing with a depth of feeling and level of technical ability totally new to me. He put me on Ugal for Kabiar Duduk, which I remember was scary and very frustrating because I felt he was pushing the group beyond its abilities. But in the end, it was a thrill ride, and the group all moved together to try and meet the challenge. We had another exciting summer with him at UCLA in 1979, when I learned my first Gender Wayang piece, Gending Rebon, which was played earlier today. And I was hooked forever on Gender Wayang. When my then classmate Rachel Cooper told me Pak Suweca was forming a group with her and Michael in Berkeley, that was my cue to move up here and join GSJ in preparation for my first study trip to Bali. The experience of working with Pak Suweca in GSJ was exhilarating and challenging. Not only was he one of the most dynamic and accomplished all-around musicians, but he took us all seriously, and I think that's been mentioned before, and got us to reach higher standards than we ever had dreamed possible. What an honor it was to have such a deep and intensive learning experience with one of Bali's top musicians. And I could go on for a long time talking about the different aspects of his musicality that he conveyed to me, but have to be brief here, so I'll get to something that I consider more important. Suweca has always made me feel part of his family. Once I moved to Bali in 1981, we would sit in his beautiful home with the birds chirping, working on challenging Gender Wayang pieces for hours at a time, all the while talking about Balinese philosophy and Wayang and stories about the pieces and where they came from. This intensified when I returned to do my dissertation fieldwork a decade later. We would talk for hours about these topics, and he was a wealth of knowledge. Being part of the family was eating together, playing Gender and tooth filings and ceremonies and Wayang, and getting close with his sister, Bukutut Suryatinis, who I hope has logged in, but I'm not sure if she has. Hello, if you have. Hello. In 1981, and this was mentioned before, Pak Suweca returned from Berkeley with the inspiration to start the first women's gamelan group in Bali, Puspasari, with his sister, Ketut Sriatini, and Budesak, Swarti Laksmi, Ibu Arini, and Nimade Wiratini, among other great female musicians and dancers. Rachel and I were honored to be part of this group too. That experience was also life-changing for me personally, and also for the world of subsequent generations of female musicians in Bali, of which there are many now, including our current GSJ wonderful teacher, Mangsudaya Murtikati. I've done some writing and a lot of thinking about transmission over the years, how we learn and pass down and retain knowledge within a family, a community, the complex networks of players sharing pieces and stories about them. And Pak Suweca was central in this transmission process, and that has spread worldwide. Pak Suweca and his siblings, Wayan Sujana, who I also don't know if has logged on, Nyoman Sudarna and Ketut Sriatini inherited a vast body of music from their father, Bapak Iwayan Konolan, also mentioned, with whom I also studied, and carried on the tradition collectively. This was then passed along to Pak Suweca's children, Putu Hartini, who is with us today, Kadek and Komang, her siblings. All three professional musicians carrying on his legacy and fierce talent, and to their children as well. One day, in a more recent past, when I came to Pak Suweca's house for a lesson, I witnessed Pak Suweca's grandson, then age 7, and that's Putu Hartini's son, teaching Gender to another child from the community, while both his parents and uncle were busy teaching others, and I came for another lesson, all in the same house. His legacy lives on, not only in his family home, but here with the lucky students from my UC Berkeley classes who got to study with him. It lives on in Gamelan Sekar Jaya and in the rest of the world. And I just want to say terima kasih banyak, Bapak Guru, and we'll miss you terribly. Condolences to the family.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Is Bapak Hadi available? Yeah, we have a very special guest. I'd like to mention that throughout all of Sekar Jaya's development, the Indonesian government, particularly the Indonesian consulate in San Francisco, has been very supportive of us. It's been a very important part of our development. So today we're honored to have Bapak Prasetyo Hadi, Consul General at the San Francisco Consulate, joining us remotely. So if you could share a few words with us, Bapak, we would appreciate that.
Terima kasih Pak Jim. Om Swastiastu, selamat sore, a very good afternoon to all of us in the US, and also selamat pagi untuk Ibu Bapak yang di Indonesia. Distinguished Board of Directors, co-founders, general manager and administrative staff, musicians and artists of the Gamelan Sekar Jaya, scholars, Balinese stakeholders, artist leaders and communities, my fellow Indonesians and Americans, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me to celebrate the life of our dear co-founder, mentors, musicians, teachers, composers, and best friends, Bapak Iwayan Suweca. My heart and all the Indonesian Consulate General staff in San Francisco go out to you and your family in Bali. Therefore, on this occasion, I would like to express my deepest condolence for the passing of Pak Iwayan Suweca. May his soul rest in God's loving arm. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us here admire Pak Suweca's devotion and love to the community, his family and friends. Even though I have never met and known Pak Suweca personally, I have got to know him. His good reputation, and thus I'm so proud of his dedication and achievement, at least for some following reasons. First, Pak Suweca, as a Balinese talented musician, had created, composed, and developed his music style, a technique as a master of integrated music of Gender Wayang, and his drumming techniques particularly. Second, Pak Suweca, along with other co-founders, musicians, pioneers of Balinese in San Francisco Bay Area, and other scholars, dedicated his life for development of Balinese gamelan in the United States. He had actively performed throughout Asia, Europe, and the United States since the beginning of 1970s, where Indonesia was still not as well known by the public in America. For his achievements, Bapak Suweca finally gained recognition in the United States through the Rockefeller grant he received to teach Balinese music at various leading educational institutions. And the third, Pak Suweca was an example of an Indonesian role model who was selfless, hardworking, dedicated, and committed to preserving Balinese culture, strengthening the cooperation and bilateral relations between Indonesia and the United States, as well as the American public's view on Indonesia. Through Gamelan Sekar Jaya, that was established together with other co-founders, Mr. Michael Tenzer and Mrs. Rachel Cooper, it was a symbol of Balinese culture's success in the Northwest coast of the United States. Therefore, on behalf of the Indonesian Consulate General and myself, I want also to thank Gamelan Sekar Jaya for continuously playing an important role in assisting the Consulate General of Indonesia in conducting Indonesia's cultural diplomacy in San Francisco Bay Area for many years, and even embracing the country's worldwide musical growth through performing Indonesia's Balinese music individually or collaboration with many consul generals, my predecessor. Ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion, I would like to convey my thanks to almarhum Bapak Suweca and a family. I know we all remember him even though he is no longer with us. We still enjoy his musical works, which have made a legacy for him. Last but not least, I would like to congratulate and thanks Gamelan Sekar Jaya, the board of directors, musicians, artists, and all staff. I hope that Gamelan Sekar Jaya will continue to grow and develop even further in the future. I thank you. Selamat sore, selamat pagi, dan sampai jumpa lagi. Om Swastiastu.
Terima kasih, Pak. Oops. Ready to go? Yeah, terima kasih, Pak, for sharing those important words with us and those important sentiments. Just to reiterate how much we appreciate the support that you and the consulate have given us. At this time, I hope it is Putu Hartini on the. Oh, yes, we have perhaps I think our most important speaker here. We'd like to say Selamat Datang kepada keluarga Bapak Suweca, particularly his daughter Putu Hartini, who we're hoping will be able to join us now from Bali and share a few words with us. Thank you, Putu.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone in Sekar Jaya, Banjar Sekar Jaya, dan semuanya. Selamat sore. Apakah suara saya bisa?
Bisa.
Bisa terdengar ya? Oke. Mungkin saya bisa menyampaikan dengan bahasa Indonesia. Nanti akan kami coba untuk translate ke bahasa Inggris ya. Baik, perkenalkan nama saya Putu Hartini. I'm the first daughter of Bapak Wayan Suweca. And beside me, Inyoman Gede Haryana. He is a third son for Bapak Wayan Suweca. And now he's joining Made Haryati. He is a second daughter for Bapak Wayan Suweca. Oke, thank you. Jadi kami akan mengucapkan terima kasih untuk semuanya. Terima kasih untuk keluarga besar Gamelan Sekar Jaya yang sudah membuat event ini untuk mengenang ayah kami, Bapak Wayan Suweca. Terima kasih untuk Gamelan Sekar Jaya, all of member Gamelan Sekar Jaya sudah mempertahankan grup Gamelan Sekar Jaya hingga bisa berjaya sampai saat ini. Seperti harapan dari Bapak almarhum yang sudah banyak juga bercerita kepada kami bagaimana sejarah, histori, bagaimana start
untuk mendirikan Gamelan Sekar Jaya itu, Bapak bilang semua dari nol, tapi karena semangat yang tinggi dan juga keinginan dan rutin mau belajar, bisa berkembang saat ini untuk Gamelan Sekar Jaya yang sudah go internasional ya, tidak hanya di Amerika saja, tetapi seluruh dunia yang sudah membawa banyak prestasi untuk Gamelan Sekar Jaya. Banyak kenangan, itu lucu, ataupun bagaimana mengawali dari Gamelan Sekar Jaya yang dikatakan menyewa gamelan ya dari Bali ya untuk bisa merespon semangat dari teman-teman untuk bisa mengembangkan Gamelan Sekar Jaya itu. Saya ingat bagaimana Bapak bercerita beliau berangkat ke luar negeri dengan modal berani atau nekat karena beliau tidak bisa berbahasa Inggris. Jadi itu kami ambil sebagai hikmah, harus berani karena kesempatan tidak akan datang 2 kali. Jadi itu besar sekali keinginan atau semangatnya Bapak untuk bisa merintis atau mengawali keberadaan gamelan di luar negeri. Kami juga dari keluarga besar Bapak Wayan Suweca mengucapkan banyak terima kasih. Thank you a lot for sumbangan dari teman-teman, sahabat di Gamelan Sekar Jaya yang kami gunakan untuk prosesi kremasi Bapak Wayan Suweca yang sudah berjalan lancar pada saat di Bali hari Minggu tanggal 28 Mei 2023. Jadi Bapak Wayan Suweca dan ibu kami sudah berada di Betariang Guru di Kayu Mas. Jadi mereka sekarang sudah bersama-sama untuk bisa melihat kita semua dari Kayu Mas. Mungkin kami keluarga besar Wayan Suweca memohon maaf apabila Bapak dan Ibu kami selama masih hidup atau pada saat berada di Banjar Gamelan Sekar Jaya ada kesalahan kata atau perilaku yang itu dilakukan baik sengaja maupun tidak sengaja. Jadi kami memohon maaf dan mungkin bisa mendoakan juga agar Bapak dan Ibu kami mendapatkan tempat yang terbaik di sisi Tuhan. Kami juga berharap the relationship for Gamelan Sekar Jaya dengan keluarga besar Wayan Suweca masih bisa tetap berjalan. Walaupun Bapak dan Ibu tidak ada, tapi kami harap kita bisa masih memiliki hubungan yang baik. Jadi misalkan keluarga besar Gamelan Sekar Jaya ke Bali, kita bisa bertemu, atau mungkin kita bisa berkolaborasi nantinya. Oke, thank you Bapak Jim Hogan, Ibu Lisa, Bapak Michael Tenser, Ibu Rachel Cooper, Bapak Nyoman Wenten, Bapak Wayne Vitali, Bapak Konsul Jenderal, dan keluarga besar lainnya, Pak Prof. Wayan Dibie, terima kasih sudah memberikan apresiasi mengenang Bapak kami, Bapak Iwayan Suweca. Memang Bapak memang suka bercerita, selalu bercerita, selalu memberikan nasihat kepada kami bagaimana beliau sosok yang sangat simpel, sangat sederhana, dan selalu memberikan nasihat bagaimana harus mensyukuri apapun yang kita terima dan harus kita jalani saat ini. Jadi kami tidak menyangka dengan kembali tahun lalu sampai terakhir itu Bapak main kendang sangat luar biasa. Mungkin ini adalah jawaban kami harus kehilangan Bapak untuk selama-lamanya. Saya tidak menyangka memang permainannya masih sangat bagus dengan umur 74 tahun lalu, dan last year 74, he can to play the drummer very good. So this is the answer for that performance. Maybe you all, for memoriam, you can see in the YouTube. So many people viral in Indonesia, in Bali, is viral about the drummer Bapak Wayan Suweca. I think that's all ya. Semua sudah kami sampaikan. Jadi kami mengucapkan terima kasih banyak. Terima kasih, terima kasih, terima kasih. Dan jangan lupakan kami, ya, anak-anak yang di Bali. Kalian masih bisa untuk bertemu dengan kami. Iya. Berkomunikasi dengan kami. Memang mau ada ngomong? Oke, iya.
Ya, itu.
Terima kasih. Saya tutup dengan Parama Santi, Om Santi, Santi, Santi. Silakan Bapak Jim. Terima kasih.
Thank you so much. Terima kasih banyak, Putu, for those beautiful words. I think we have a large family here and in Bali that we all share. We share the feelings, you know, sadness that Pak Suweca has gone, but so much gratitude for what he has left behind and what we continue to move forward with. At this point, we're going to conclude our more or less formal part of our program. I'd like to invite Susanna Benningfield, who's our board president, who has done so much for us, really, well, I won't go on, but we do, Susanna, we appreciate so much what you've done for us, Anna. And share a few words with us and maybe tell us what's going to happen next.
Okay, thank you very much, Jim. I feel like I've gotten so much more out of this group than I've given to it. And I've given a hell of a lot, so that means something. Yes, I am Susanna Miller-Benningfield. I'm the current president of Gamelan Sekar Jaya since the 2020s, you know, not a lot going on. But I am a current ensemble member as well, and I've been playing with Sekar Jaya since 1988, right around the time of the 9th anniversary of this 44-year group, which means I'm a newcomer here. I'd like to assure Ibu Putu and her whole family that we will never forget you, that we are part of your keluarga besar, that we're all the little brothers and sisters in Suweca's family. And you can be assured we won't forget you. Please don't forget us. On behalf of our entire GSJ community, our family, I would like to thank everyone who has already joined us today for this tribute for our beloved teacher and friend, Pat Suweca. And I hope we are all feeling comforted in sharing our grief together. Many of our teachers have mentioned Sukha Dukkha as a concept, happy together and sad together. We had the joys of celebrating a wonderful concert yesterday, which we dedicated to the memory of Pat Suweca. So his influence and ripples continue out today and will continue into the future. We're very sorry we can't have this event go on longer. I know we could spend many, many hours and share many, many more memories of Pat Suweca. But I want to assure everyone that we will be collecting personal tributes. So if anyone would like to write an email to debbie@gsj.org, please share, and we will be collecting these remembrances to share on the Gamelan Sekar Jaya website. And we're going to collect a sort of memory book with photos. So that will be there to share, along with a recording of this event, which will be shared on our Gamelan Sekar Jaya YouTube channel. I know we've spent the past hour reflecting on our memories of Pat Suweca. Gamelan Sekar Jaya would not exist today if it were not for his musical virtuosity, his dedication, his inspiration, his vision, and his values. The GSJ of today has his spirit woven into the fabric of who we are, and all of the new members, including people who've never met him, will feel the force of his spirit as long as Sekar Jaya exists as an institution. And it's important to remember that when this group was founded in 1979, it wasn't certain that it would be an institution. But we have a lot of hope now with our Banjar Jaya campaign that we will become a permanent institution moving forward for another 44 years, if not longer. Who we are today is defined by his memory, and we define ourselves with a love for traditional and contemporary Balinese performing arts, held in a space of a joyful and dedicated community. That is who Pat Suweca is, and that's who we aspire to always be. As I said yesterday, we dedicated that concert in the memory of Pat Suweca, and moving forward, I intend to personally dedicate my practice as a musician to his memory, and as whatever time I have left serving as president, to keep in mind and hold in my heart my gratitude to everything he's given to us personally and as a community. The ripples that he has sent out from the connection to arts in Bali and America will continue to ripple out long after today. Thank you everyone for coming. Good night.
Yeah.
Okay. I think just by way of introduction, and I know the time's over, so obviously if people can't stay, that's fine. But I visited Pat Suweca in 2011, and we were talking in his front room, and he was telling me about what various things he was doing, teaching and so forth. And he said, "Oh, and I'm also studying trombone." So I said, I thought to myself, Pat Suweca is studying trombone. You know, this was like, didn't compute in my brain. So I said to him, well, what do you mean? He said, oh, well, let me show you. So he brought me to his back room and demonstrated him what he was studying. So that's the introduction of this video.
Jadi pakai rasa gitu ya. Jadi itu harus saya pelajari, harus kendalikan diri supaya jangan emosi.
Ya. Jadi Pak Yan belajar memandang ke depan.
Nah, sekarang sudah saya mulai memandang saya. Masih ragu-ragu saya. Ya. Jadi belum pasti sekali saya tahu. Tapi kalau bisa saya bisa lebih sana norek, mungkin itu lebih baik. Kan bisa kadang sukarya apa sih? Jadi kita bisa sering ya. Ini saya mau belajar. Nah, berapa jaraknya nih? Ini perlu latihan banyak juga saya.
Join us from far away. We're sorry we can't share Thai food with you. But for the people who are here, if you'd like to go out into the courtyard, we have a light dinner and we can keep informally sharing memories of Pat Suweca together.
So grateful for the people who organized this day.
Organizing outside. It's not me.
See you, Cassie. See everybody. See you. Bye.
Good night. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Evening. Selamat.
Thank you for the program.
Night,
Morning.
Rebecca.
Hai Ara.
Hai Bu Nani.
Terima kasih ya buat acaranya. Maaf nggak bisa di sana.